Hope everybody's having a good day today. I was going to talk about my new camera I got. I had said in a vlog a few days ago that I had got a new camera for Christmas and I wanted to kind of do an unboxing, but I've already used it, so I thought I'd just show you the camera and explain what I was thinking about as far as getting a new camera. I've got some notes here. I was going to read off that. The things I was looking for in a new camera was better video quality, better picture quality, extra features such as an external mic jack, fold-out screen, Wi-Fi connectability, and a top deck display so that I could see the settings on the camera without having to look at the screen. And the biggest thing I had to have was the ability to use my old lenses, because I've got a nice wide angle lens and I also have a couple other lenses that I want to use with it as well. So I just needed a body that would fit my lenses. I had a couple different choices I could go with. The first was the Rebel series, just like my T1i. I could either get the T6i or the T6s, or I could get the 70D, which is what I was kind of leaning toward. What I ended up doing was going to websites and looking at the pros and cons to all three cameras, and I'm going to read some of those to you. It was better to have a list for me because there was so much different about each one. A lot of similarities between a few, but some of it was real different, and I just wanted to kind of have a refresher, so I thought having some notes here would make it a lot easier. The camera I was using was the Canon Rebel T1i, and it's been a good camera, but I just wanted an upgrade because I wanted a mic, which I also got one of those. I've got a Rode Video Mic Go. I wanted the Pro, but I ended up going with a Go just because I didn't want to spend the extra money and I needed something better than just what was on the camera itself. So here's my old camera. Still a great camera. I just wanted something a little more upgraded. It's a lot lighter, less features, but it was a good entry-level camera. Now, what my other camera offered, my Rebel T1i, and I'm going to just read the list here. I'll put the link to in the description to the website I went to, and it was imaging-resource.com, and then you can go through and pick any two cameras, different brands, whatever you want, and compare. When you're looking for new cameras, you can put your old or two new cameras, or an old one and a new one you're looking at, and compare them. So that's what I did. It was a good site. Looking at my T1i, got faster startup than the 70D. It's got bigger pixels and bigger JPEG buffer. And to be honest, that's the only thing that's even better, and if it's better I really don't know, but there's only like 3 things on the list. As far as similarities go, it's got the eye level viewfinder, and you can look through and see what the lens sees. It's got HDMI out. It's got the hot shoe for like an external flash. It's also got an internal flash. And you even get the bulb shutter, which is where if you wanted to do night shots, you could have a time deal. And I've bought a shutter release for both my old camera and my 70D now, and it works both ways. It was cross-platform. It's still the same type camera. As far as similarities between the 70D and the T1i, that's about it. You don't really get anything much more than that. There's just not a lot of features on the T1i. But now to the 70D, let's see what it compares to the camera that I had. The 70D has a tilt swivel screen. It's also touchscreen. It's got the built-in Wi-Fi like I wanted. I'm going to skip through a few things to make it shorter, but I'm just going to hit the high points of the things that I wanted personally. It's got longer still battery life. It does have the top deck display like I wanted, like a lot of professional cameras and a lot of old film cameras. It does have the external mic jack. Instead of having 15.1 megapixels, it's a 20.2 megapixel camera, so it's a pretty good jump going from the T1i to the 70D. I wanted something that was a good jump because the T2i, T3, those were only like an 18 megapixel, so it wasn't a big jump, so I wanted a little bit bigger jump. It's got a better viewfinder. The ISO will go to a higher level. The 70D also has a faster shutter. The T1i that I've got goes to 4,000. This one goes to 8,000. So if it's a really bright day, you can get that extra speed. So those are the similarities and the differences, which more differences than anything, between the camera I had and the new Canon 70D that I have. I thought I'd also list the differences between the Canon T6i and the T6s. The T6i didn't have the top deck display, but the T6s did. They both had the swivel rear LCD, and they both had the Wi-Fi adaptability. They were both touchscreen as well, which makes it easier in some situations, but is not a real big deal for me. And they also had the eye level viewfinder. They also both had an external mic jack, which was a biggie for me, something I wanted. They had the HDMI out, just like my old camera. They also had a hot shoe for, like I said, an external mic or for a external flash. They also had an internal flash and a bulb shutter. Now what I'm gonna do, after looking at the differences between the T6i and the T6s, which is not very much except for the top deck display. Now what I'm gonna do is take the T6s and compare it to the 70D. Since the T6s is the better camera and does have the top deck display, that would have been the one, if I would have stayed with the Rebel side, that I would have bought. The 70D had a longer battery life than the T6s. It also had the faster shutter speed, and like my other Rebel, the T1i, it had a 4000 shutter, not the 8000 shutter. Each camera had the tilt back screen that swiveled out front so that you can view it while you're videoing like I am here. And one thing about the Rebel T6i and T6s compared to the 70D, since they're a newer camera, they do have a higher resolution for the pictures. The 70D has, like I said, 20.2 megapixels, and the Rebel T6s has 24.2 megapixels. So it would be even bigger of a step if I'd go from the T1i, which is 15.1, all the way to 24.2. But in the end, the 70D and the T6s are very similar cameras. And the reason I went with a 70D is because it had a little bit better video quality, and it also had the faster shutter speed. So because of that, it just made it a better camera for taking photos as well. So I went ahead and went with that one. But the T6s is still a good camera. It's nearly the same as a 70D. I do think the 70D was a better choice, but the T6s was a really close second for me looking at a new camera. But now I'm going to show you the 70D set up on the tripod with my new mic and just let you see it. But I may keep the audio running so that you can tell the difference between the audio on the Rode mic on my 70D and the internal mic on my T1i. This is my setup with the 70D, and I'm on my T1i right now. I've got my old lens there, the wide angle 10-22 Canon lens. I really like that one, and I used it on this camera as well, the Rebel. But the biggest thing with this one is it's got the 60 frames per second on 720, which is real nice. I've got it all on manual focus right now on this camera that I'm holding, so that you don't hear, well, I'll show you, so that you don't hear this. But this other one has the autofocus so that you can sit here and just focus right on, if it will. You can also touch it. There it goes. But anyway, as you move, it's got the live view on it. But you can see there, it's got the external mic jack, which this one does not have. As you can see, it's just got the, back up a little bit, it's just got the shutter release and HDMI. So that's all you really got with it. And this other has the swivel back, as you can see there. I can view as I go. But in all, it's also got, I forgot about the top there. I've got to focus in if I can. I'm going to turn the autofocus or the manual focus off, if it'll focus. But you got the display up there and the buttons over there instead of on the other side with this one. And you got my mic hooked up. No batteries for that mic. It's really nice. But it's got more settings back here, more buttons anyway. But a lot of them are the same since they're the same type camera, same company. But it's wasn't a real big learning curve as far as the camera itself. I just wanted one that was going to be similar for me and that was an upgrade as well, because I've had this camera for 5 years and I think the 70D will be a good camera. It's a little heavier, plus with the mic and all, but it'll work good. And with that lens, the 10-22 lens is a pretty heavy lens, but it's also got a quiet motor. You can hear it there. It's just barely moves, and as I'm moving, this camera is actually doing focusing for me, and this one I have to hit the button so you can hear it. It's not really good as far as the quality on that, so I like to have the live view. But anyway, I'm gonna shut this one off. Let it focus one more time. Well, it don't even want to focus, but we're going on this one. I just wanted to show the differences between my new camera and that one. It may not be a great video, but I just wanted to sit out here and do it real quick and try my new mic out. So anyway, if you have any questions, leave a comment, let me know, and I'll leave any links in the description of the differences between the cameras that I was looking for. I'm gonna go edit this video and maybe upload it today and see how it works out. But hope you had a good day, and I will see you later.